Tennessee Tech head coach Dewayne Alexander. The Golden Eagles came up just short at Murray State this past week. They're going to be home. It's their homecoming. They're going to host 10th ranked UT Martin, a Sergeant York Trophy series. If the Golden Eagles win their last two games, they would retain that trophy that they have currently in their possession. So, Coach, thoughts on your team? And we'll go to some questions.
Well, Murray State game, first of all, credit to Murray State coming off. We know how that is to go to TSU to Nissan Stadium and play a hard-fought game and come up short, with a Dean, as you knew he would. His team responded and got the win on Saturday. Always, typical OVC game, come down to last possession. We got an onside kick, with 58 seconds left trying to get the ball back with a chance to win the game. So, but I sat here last week and was asked about, really the keys to the game, for this coming week. And I said, I thought it was very evenly matched. And it really, both teams had struggled with turnovers at different times. Earlier at different points during the season, I was going to be the team that really could take care of the football the best. And Murray State did a better job than we did on Saturday. And it was the difference in the game. They had 15 direct points off our turnovers. They had a 90-yard pick six. Instead of the score being 17-14, it's 24-7. They stripped a fumble, run it down to the 6-yard line. Defense did a nice job holding to a field goal, but that was a gift. And then we threw a 2-point conversion. They ran it back, a 2-point conversion for a score. So, they won the first half 27-7. We won the second half 20-5. You add it up, that was 5 points short. And the difference in the game is we had 3 turnovers. They scored off of all 3. Murray State did not have a turnover in the game. Part of that's our responsibility to create and to cause those. And in games where we, anytime you're short in the turnover battle and everything else is pretty even, that's going to be the difference in the game. And that's what it was on Saturday.
So the question's been asked me first. It's just homecoming. Can you talk about that? All that goes on with that around campus in addition to just the game?
It is. Well, I made sure I called Jason Simpson to let him know that Coach Alexander doesn't get to pick homecoming. We wouldn't want to make the 10th ranked team in the country any more mad and play any better than any motivation than what they already are, because they got a ton of stuff to play for. But homecoming special. It's extra special for myself and 4 different members of our staff, really everybody on staff. But we have 5 Tech alums, that all coach here on our staff here at Tennessee Tech. So, it's special, extra pride in it for us to make sure we represent our alumni and our proud university, the way it should be. And of course, homecoming, we'll have a bunch of people back. It's always by far our biggest crowd of the year, and playing a 10th ranked team in the country and UT Martin, an in-state opponent, for homecoming. UT Martin's going to bring a lot of fans, their fan base excited about what they're doing this season, rightfully so. So, but extra special, like I said, I played here and have coached here and have a lot of my former players, that I've coached an assistant that'll be back. A lot of my teammates will be back. So, there's an extra pride factor there to make sure that we represent and it's senior day for us as well. It's our last game in Tucker Stadium because we finish on the road against Austin Peay. So we have senior day and homecoming on the same day. So, we're going to have a lot of emotions involved. And as a coach, you just want to make sure that we handle all that properly and, and take care of the task at hand, which is preparing and playing an outstanding UT Martin team.
Yeah, what have you seen from them? Obviously, they're 10th in the country now. They've won 8 in a row. Are they different than what the team you saw in the spring?
They are. The quarterback they had in the spring, Backus was a really good player, but the young man they have playing quarterback, right now, he is Steve McNair is what he reminds me of. I mean, he is big. He's physical. He finds a way to make plays every time that they need a play to be made. He has a knack for doing that. The 92-yard drive that they went on to actually take the lead against Austin Peay to score late in the game. I mean, they're backed up and they got to score on that drive. And boy, he made just play after play after play on 3rd down, some 4th downs, where he just, takes the ball in his hand and, finds a way to go get a 1st down, compete for a 1st down. Defensively, they've added some defensive linemen up front. I mean, boy, they are very athletic up front. They're big, but they also run well. But they're just very athletic on defense, very aggressive on defense. They cause a lot of minus yardage plays. They're tied with us as far as sacks. I think both teams have had 15 sacks, so we're both tied for the conference lead in that. They do it with a lot of different guys. They present you a lot of issues on defense. They're sound in the kicking game. Very physical offensive line, 2 of the best backs in the league. Both are very good. So, just a very good football team. And they've been in some close games, but they always find a way to separate, there at the end in the fourth quarter. And, Jason always does a great job. He has his guys coached up. But, this team here, though, I mean, from the quarterback position to, all the way across at every skill position and to defensively and special teams, very solid football team, very sound team. And they are very much deserving of their national ranking and sitting atop on the OVC right now.
If we look at the rankings, they're 1 in the OVC in rush defense, and you're all 2. And obviously, David Giss has been playing really well for you. They have a pair of running backs who they've just intertwined and put out there. Thoughts on the rushing game on Saturday?
Well, I think, it'll be this game, obviously it'll be which team, can hold up against the run the best. I mean, we both love to, one thing, we both love to run the football as well. We love to run it offensively and want to be able to establish a, run game, and because it's a big component of play action passing, and then really some similarities. They run their quarterback. He has over 500 yards rushing. Has scored 10 rushing touchdowns. On the season. Willie Miller, our quarterback, is a dynamic runner and makes plays with his feet. As well. But both teams have been very solid against the run. They're very active, get off blocks. All of their front 7 and as many as 8 guys in there. I mean, they're all tremendous getting off blocks and not staying blocked. They play very hard. They're playing very, very disciplined football. Been very impressed with them. And we've been solid against the run. We played a poor first quarter against Murray State. We came back the second half. I think they had 4 carries for 2 yards in the third quarter. We only gave up 80 yards in the 87 yards in the second half of the game. We just didn't get off to a good start, but very similar against Murray last week. Their quarterback Williams, he's had 87 yards, rushing, and not all of them were designed plays. And my concern against UT Martin, we know both their backs are good, offensive line is good, but it's the hidden yardage that the quarterback gets. He has a lot of what I call off-schedule plays where he drops back. It's a designed drop back, and then people are covered or whatever, and he pulls the ball down and gets it out in the open field. And I know that there's a lot of secondary guys out there. Eyes are getting about that big whenever they see this guy in the secondary loose and running. So, but I think again, the turnovers will be key in this game. They have had 10 fumbles and thrown 7 interceptions, so they've had some turnovers during the year. We're going to have to create some. We're going to need to make something happen in a turnover. We can't continue to have the other team not have any turnovers in the game and expect to win. It's going to be hard to take the football. We had a 72-yard, 75-yard, and a 74-yard drive in last week's game against Murray State. And that's tough sledding. It's tough to take the ball 75 yards, 4 or 5 times in a game and score touchdowns, So we're going to need some help there. But very impressed with both their backs. We've seen Logan, for a couple of years, very impressed. Offensive line, they're coached up. They do a great job. But we've done, we've played well offensive line wise as well ourselves, the last 5 weeks. So it should be a good battle there up front on both sides of the ball.
Well, since we talked last week, Seth Carlisle was named an OVC Scholar, Athlete Award winner. I saw what you tweeted about him, but I just wanted to ask you about that. He's one of your best defensive players. Your MVP last year, 9 tackles this past week, and then everything else he does to win the award. So can you just talk a little bit about him?
I love talking about Seth, and it's the football stuff speaks for itself. The statistics and all that speak for itself. But, Seth is an outstanding person in our community, and it's all genuine. He's a great family. He's from Macon County, a local product, only about 45 minutes from here. I watched Seth play basketball in high school when he was at Macon County, and, have known of Seth since he was a 9th grader. Actually, my twin boys played basketball before we moved. I got the job here. We lived in Gallatin, and actually saw Seth as a 9th grader. Everybody was telling me, look, you need to look at this kid. He's playing basketball, and he's also a quarterback. And this was in the 9th grade. And so I've known Seth for a long time. He has a great family, and, he's really represented, community service wise, class wise. I mean, leadership on the team. He's just first class, and I'm always special to see guys recognized for positive things. And I appreciate the OVC for all the positive awards, that they give out, not just for, football or basketball and scoring a bunch of points and making a bunch of tackles, but for recognizing the student athletes here as far as what they're doing, away from their sport and away from football. And we've got many across the OVC, and here at Tennessee Tech with Jamal Thompson, who won a one of the major awards, that we give here as far as, outstanding, just being an outstanding person, what you're doing off the field. But Seth, very proud of him. He's very deserving of that honor.
Well, Coach, thanks for being flexible with us today, and best luck to your team this weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thank you, Kyle.